I got some succulents from Home Depot, and I thought it'd be the perfect day or the perfect opportunity to film myself actually doing a little succulent arrangement with this pot that my sister got me. My sister told me she had something for me on a random day, and then it was this plant pot. So I'm gonna show some B-roll while I'm like getting this set up of what the plants actually look like that we're putting in here today. This one's really fun. Well, I'm showing it, but there will be B-roll. This is the potting soil I got for cactus and palm and citrus. I don't know. Okay, so I'm gonna start. I think y'all know how to pot, like basic, whatever. I'm trying to see if that will sit where the soil is. I want it to be a little bit above, but not too high. Oh, little baby. So if y'all have watched, if you're someone who's watched a couple of my videos, like you can probably see that the running theme of this channel is there is no theme. I just put up whatever I feel inclined to. I mean, the most consistency I had was when I was making the Love is Blind reviews. But to be honest, I think I said in one of the like later reviews, I was like, that's not something I feel passionate about in terms of gossiping about other people. Like, I would love to talk about like social scenarios and things happening in the world, but at the same token, I don't like the idea of commenting like regularly on people's lives that I'm just not a part of. I feel like that's inappropriate. I won't even say it's disrespectful because you kind of open yourself up to public discourse when you join a reality TV show on Netflix, but I feel like people don't deserve a certain level of scrutiny when you've only observed a blip of their life. So I'm not ashamed or upset about any of the content that I made regarding Love is Blind, but after those, I was just like, I think I'd rather make content that has to do with real, I don't want to say real people, but content that has to do with me, a real person, that hopefully, if it were to be so, somebody could watch and relate or just enjoy what I talk about. Like, I mean, I guess you kind of have to, you're not really listening to somebody you don't relate to that much, do you? Well, let me give this disclaimer. I'm not someone who very much cares about symmetry. I actually don't really like symmetry that much. I like things that are not off-putting, but in terms of geographical location, off-put. Like, if you expect something to be centered, I'm probably going to prefer it to be off-center a little bit. Except for when it's a case of utility. Like, my TV in my living room is not going to be off-center to my couch. Like, it's going to be centered. But when it comes to plants, I know most would probably say, like, put the two biggest ones in the middle, and then the rest can be on the rim. But I'm just like, okay, let me put it this way. And y'all can see, like, how I'm talking right now. My brain is like, in nature, you're not just going to see, like, all these big, like, a big plant always surrounded by all these little plants. I think for this part, I should be quiet. Be quiet, Ariel. I think for this part, I should be quiet and focus on arranging, and then I can like speed it up and put music over it. So I'm going to do that.
Your friends when they had told you break apart. Yeah. Hey, it's never too late to make love, but I don't wanna have to make up. No, I don't wanna have to make up.
This bigger one is on the side right here. This is called a chocolate soldier. This other bigger one, I don't know if it's donkey tail. Oh yeah, it's donkey tail. That's what they call it. So I feel like you should go I just said I don't want it to be symmetrical. But I also want it to be towards an edge, but just maybe a little bit closer to the center. My only gripe, okay, so you want this to kind of fall over the edge, I'm thinking. And my only other gripe is that I don't want smaller succulents to be, missing out on light because this bigger one is blocking them. You know what I mean? But I know if I do put the donkey tail towards the middle, it might actually be a problem. So maybe I should have put the chocolate soldier towards the middle. Yeah. Y'all, see, this is what I'm talking about. Okay. You know, off topic. It is on topic. I've had this tendency where, so I watch a lot of YouTube and I'll watch vloggers and they'll like make a point about how they like to do things, like how I made my whole point about how I love asymmetry. And then like 5 minutes later in the vlog, they'll do something that's like antithetical or like in complete opposition to what they just said is like a common practice for them, or like a new habit they wanted to pick up. And I always used to be like, that is so odd. But then I had to realize, like, we as humans are very hypocritical, but a lot of times it's not intentional. And the funny thing is, I think it's like a force of nature that God uses to show, like, I'm sure there's some biblical references that I just could not quote at the moment, but just maybe about not being self-righteous or thinking you're like better than thou or whatever, because it's kind of like what goes around comes around. I don't mean that in a karmic way, but I mean it in a way of like, you cannot escape the realities of life. And one of the realities of life is that things are going to happen that are going to be like oppositional to what you want to happen. There's like a yin and yang to life. So within every good intention that you have, there is a seed of something that could potentially turn out badly. And of course, I'm using small examples like, you said you were going to do a diet and then you went back on it the next day. Like, I'm not talking about life or death situations, but that's how I feel right now with this freaking plant. I was just like, oh, I don't like symmetry, so these plants aren't going to be symmetrical. And now that I've done it, now they're going to just have to be symmetrical based on the way I just started it, which is fine. But now I sound like a hypocrite, don't I? Now I sound like a fraud.
But I don't wanna have to make up. No, I don't wanna have to make up. Ooh, do you think about the way we used to feel me? Ooh, do you think about the way we used to feel? Apologize, I fall in love with anything that walks my way. Hey, hey. But trust me, I felt something new the day that I first saw your face. Send missed calls from you this week. I told my mom that we don't speak. I don't wanna feel, I just wanna freak. I don't wanna feel, I just wanna freak. 10 missed calls from you this week. I told my mom that we don't speak. I don't wanna feel, I just wanna freak. And I don't wanna feel, I just wanna freak. Ooh, do you think about the way we used to feel? Do you feel with me? Do you do you think about the way we used to feel?
Most of this side filled in. Y'all don't come for me, okay? I'm doing the best that I can. I don't know how people do this for a freaking job. Jobs where you have to create something and then give it to like a client, like, and I don't mean like a business proposal per se, I mean, like when somebody commissions you for a work, whether you do flower arrangements, whether you're doing interior design, whether you're doing graphic visuals, maybe you're a photographer, and basically, like, okay, let's say you work in corporate America and you have a business proposal. Oh, you have to give a presentation. Oh, that's so scary. That is not scary anywhere near the comparison of being an artist. It's not scary in comparison of being an artist. Y'all have to burp so much. And you give someone like an art piece that they commissioned, and then they look at you like, what is this? And then you're looking at them like, it's my interpretation as closely as I could render to what you asked for, and I just spent days of my life working on this. Now you have to pay for it, bro. Like, hopefully the case for most artists and creatives is that when they produce a work, it's not being heavily critiqued by the person who commissioned it. Let's hope is pretty confident in the work that person produces. But yo, like, not only are you a creative in the sense that you are living your life in a way where the monetary compensation you receive is based off of your own value of your creativity, but also you then have to have the utmost confidence in what you do at all times to not only produce your best work, but to also believe that what you're doing is going to be appreciated and respected and by other people to the point where they want to pay for it. Does that make sense? Like, I'm overcomplicating like the very simple structure of like art commissions or whatever, but it could be for any creative field. Like you reach a point in a more capitalist structure where the creativity becomes so heavily monetized to the point where it's like, now we can produce crap and people will pay for it. Maybe they won't pay these high figures from this whatever couple decades ago, this couple centuries ago for these works, but because so many people are now able to consume them, they can be shittier, so that we can produce more of it like faster, but people will still like it just because the mass public is not aware that their art can be so much better if you're patient and you give stuff more time to grow, you know. I like this one because you can't really tell by the camera, or maybe you can. It's fuzzy. I love that. The chocolate soldier is also fuzzy, which I feel like is a lot more apparent on camera. But then also, y'all, look at these little babies. One thing about me is if you show me something like regular size and I see a miniature version, I'm like, this is the mom and these are the babies. Y'all, I'm actually really happy with this arrangement. And guess what I ended up doing, y'all? I ended up putting all the biggest ones towards the middle. Do y'all want a reveal? That doesn't look good the way I'm gonna reveal it in another B-roll where the camera's showing it while I talk. So yeah, I was really happy about this little project. Of course, it took like 15 minutes. I think what I'll do now is spray like some succulent plant food that I have or whatever to make sure that they're like not in utter shock from switching environments. All right, that is the video. I know for a fact I have not been looking here. The whole time I've been looking here at myself. I think I'm gonna hit it. It's time to go. Thanks for watching if you watched the whole video. You can subscribe if you want. But I will talk to you all later. Bye.